You were not paid to think, okay, so I didn't he? A few years ago, I worked as a copywriter at a small PR agency run by a tyrant of a boss, let us call her Marcy. She was all about control. One day during a strategy meeting, I pointed out a huge flaw in a campaign that could have cost our client major money. Her response? You were not paid to think, you were paid to write what I tell you. Cool. Got it. From that point on, I followed her instructions exactly. No suggestions, no edits, no heads up when things were obviously going sideways. Just pure, flawless compliance. Within 2 months, 2 major clients left over tone-deaf campaigns, ones I had tried to fix but was explicitly told not to. Guess who got blamed? Nay. Guess who kept receipts? Also me. I forwarded my just doing what you told me email chain to HR. Turns out this wasn't the first complaint. She was restructured out of the company 3 weeks later. Edit, sorry for using a. Apparently that's a no-no. Told not to greet customers unless they greet first. Okay then. Worked at Cotton On a few years back. I used to greet everyone with a simple hey, welcome in. Nothing extra. New assistant manager came in all serious and said, stop greeting customers unless they talk first. We're not here to chase them. Alright. Next shift, I just folded hoodies and stayed silent. No hi, no eye contact. Customers walked in and looked confused. One even asked, are you guys closing? Sales dipped for the week. Same manager pulls me aside later like, actually maybe bring the greetings back. No problem. Won't you let me give you a warning? Asterisk stinks asterisk to be you, by user jumping Gurdukat 24. Apologies for formatting, I am writing this on mobile. Also I am not sure whether this would be better here or in r/officist or r/petty revenge, but I decided to post this here first as I feel it fits here pretty handedly. This happened about a week and a half ago. I was taking a walk in a small park that has a wooded area and a few walking trails. I decided I wanted to take the shortest path as it was getting late. About halfway through the path I saw a skunk in the middle of the path, and I am sure based on the title, most people already know where this is going. I turned around and decided it was not worth it to proceed further, and approximately halfway was enough. I exited the path the same way I entered, and as I was entering I saw an old teacher of mine from high school. Let us call her Miss Samantha, not her real name. Miss Samantha was a teacher that went out of her way to nitpick everything I did in her class in high school. Note it has been almost 12 years since I last saw her and 13 since I was in her class. Anyway, with the backstory aside, I went up to greet her and said, hello, Miss Samantha, have you been in? Hi, I am trying to take my daily walk down shortest path. Don't he bother me. I wouldn't you. He said, hello, this conversation is over until I get back from my walk, or you can walk with me and we can catch up. I just want to warn. This conversation is over for now. Wait until I finish my walk and we can catch up, understand? Jumping Crow Joker 24. At this point I think for a moment, I'm not the type of person who would normally just let someone walk into potential skunking, but she was just rude to me twice and did nitpick everything I did in high school, so I chose to say nothing and just took a seat at the bench nearby. See, was that so hard? We don't need to be a know-it-all. That was your issue back as a student. And Miss Samantha went down that path. As she did, I whipped out my phone and tested my parents that I'd be heading back to my childhood home a bit late. We'll help them with the dog later. Why do we eat dinner without me? I'll be here for a bit longer. One thing to take into account is that the entrance and exit for the shortest path, we have exit parallel to each other. The entrance is on one side of the bench I sat at, and the other side was the exit, in this case entrance behind, exit in front, so family can wait on the bench and see their relatives exit. Normally I knew I'd see her on the way out if she'd complete the whole route, but in this case I had a feeling I'd smell her coming out first, knowing her attitude. Sadly, my instincts were spot on. As I am on my phone playing a few games, I heard Miss Samantha's voice vaguely in the background, and my thought at the time was, oh no, she ran into the skunk, here we go. And I do not joke that just as I finished my thought I heard the sound of a woman yell, maybe a scream. I couldn't really make that out 100%, but the wind was blowing my way, so I was downwind of the path. A skunk in her, so it wasn't long before I could smell what happened. Miss Samantha did eventually come out from the path's exit, and the smell she was emitting was awful. It reminded me a bit of raw horseradish getting peeled, as it was really eye-watering. "I cuss," she moaned. I tried to warn you about that skunk. I figured it out when I got sprayed. You knew I'd react like that, didn't you? I shrugged. I wagered a guess, yeah. By the way, mine taking a few steps downward, so it is easier to talk. After that, she gave me her phone number and asked me to contact her when I planned to come back. She hoped it wouldn't be when she was still reeking in skunk odor. As I said at the beginning of this tale, it has been a week and a half. She still has some lingering skunk smell. I found out that up until that moment she was doing okay as well, but she also told me she got sprayed twice. When I asked her why she did not turn back after being sprayed the first time, she told me she already got sprayed and was going to smell like skunk anyway. She wanted to complete her walk. A fun little anecdote is that after everything, she admitted she was being petty, and when I told her I still wanted to study the foreign language she taught and took some classes in college, she told me that if I ever wanted to practice, to let her know, and she allowed do it without the pettiness this time. To be honest, I think the skunking humbled her quite a bit, and hopefully she won't be forced to deal with residual linger odor much longer. But anyway, thanks for reading. Pedestrian. A 54F went to visit my adult son 30M. We went out to dinner and I was driving. He was in the passenger seat. We had to go through downtown traffic and I asked him to help me watch out for pedestrians. I didn't specify pedestrians crossing the road. Pedestrians have the right of way. So true to his humor, he notified me about every person walking. Every single person. Yelling not too loud pedestrian. And pointing to each person walking on the sidewalk. OMG, as me in tears from laughing so hard. I made a monster and taught him a warped sense of humor. But I love my son. Even a month later when I went to visit him again, he'd do the same thing. I think this will forever be a thing and I don't mind. Malicious compliance between us is just another way to mess with each other and it's hilarious. I'd quite else to say except that I'm proud of him. Dyslexia wins. Hey y'all, it's your friendly neighborhood meat counter guy. I had an order waiting for a customer who we'll call John. He ordered a whole ham. It was waiting all by its lonesome in our meat back room, untied for some reason. I get it for him and weigh it out and the price comes to 46.31. He begins to take the ham and then asks me to cut it in half. I said, well, okay, sure. But the second I agree to this, he says, oh, could you trim it off the bone? This carving is not only something I can't do, but it's a different price. I end up throwing out the original ticket instead of tagging it, mainly because I forgot. He took the ham from me and said, well, I'm sorry, you're such a funking idiot and can't figure out how to cut a ham. When does the butcher come back? I told him that he comes in at 7 am. He leaves without additional incident and I eventually get a call from the cashier who asks my dyslexic ass for the price. I said 31.46. Then he said, really? Which should have been an indicator. I suddenly hear the customer in the background grumbling his Dennis the Menace Mr. Wilson grumble as the cashier tells me that the customer doesn't think that's the right price and I better change the price. Enter MC. I thought as this was going on that the cashier questioning the price was more like an oh wow that's cheap, and I realized the price I said was way too cheap. I told him, hey, tell the customer I'll happily change the price for him and he can even come with to see the price change. Old man River John, Mr. Wilson, what have you, saunters back to the meat department along with his ham in a handbasket, looking like Little Red Riding Hood, with equally naive expectations of the next few moments of his life. In comes the big, bad wolf to weigh the ham. I even say what I'm ringing up as I look up the code, so whole ham farmers, not spiral slice, 2.49 a pound, here you go. Tag is for $46.31, which is visible to his side as well as mine. Oh, I see what happened. My bad, sir. My dyslexia kicked in over the phone. There was 46.31, not 31.46. Here you go. The audible exhale of breath was enough to energize me for the rest of the shift, just like Scream Juice or whatever it is fueled Monster Inc. TLDR. I changed the price of a ham. Twice.